I'm Julianne Puente, head of school at Albuquerque Academy in New Mexico. The Academy is a leader in the world of independent schools. We honor our past while embracing the future of education. Even though I've been going to school in one shape or form for almost my entire life, I still learn something new every day. And I use that knowledge to tackle the challenges that should interest anyone who has a stake in the future we can't fully imagine. Thanks for joining me to hear about what I learned in school. Today, I'm honored to sit down with two legendary members of the Academy community, coaches Taryn Bachis and Dave Barney. Dave Barney joined the Academy in 1967 and spent decades shaping the generations of students as both an English teacher and a coach. While he found success coaching multiple sports, he became a national powerhouse in swimming, guiding Academy teams to an astonishing 42 state championships, coaching more than 400 All-Americans, and becoming one of the most successful high school swim coaches in the country. His contributions have been recognized with inductions into the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, the UNM Athletic Hall of Fame, the NMAA Hall of Fame, and Academy's Athletic Hall of Fame. Taryn Bachis was a student athlete long before she became a beloved coach and leader at the Academy. A high school All-American at El Dorado, she went on to play collegiate basketball and softball at UNM, TCU, and Kansas State. She joined the Academy in 1984 as a PE teacher and coach and went on to lead the girls' basketball program from 1987 to 2000, and then again in 2012 to 2024, earning more than 275 career victories. In 2000, she became the Academy's athletic director, a role she has served in for 25 years. She was named Athletic Director of the Year by the New Mexico High School Coaches Association and is also a member of the NMAA Hall of Fame. Welcome, Coach, and of course, Taryn, who I'll be on the field with in just a little bit as we move into state competition. But we're so thrilled to have both of you here. Collectively, you have to represent almost 100 years of Academy athletic history together.
Almost.
So, Coach, tell me a bit about how you got to the Academy. And I know that you're known for your swimming program, but you were an English teacher here for a long time. And, tell us about how you landed in Albuquerque.
It actually has to do with the Albuquerque Country Club.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that during the 60s, when I was a member of the faculty and a coach at the Cranbrook School for Boys in Michigan, and my athletic director came from the Hackley School in New York,
right.
School we recognized. And I'd come in the summer, and I was the aquatic director at the Albuquerque Country Club, and I absolutely built this powerhouse of a swimming team. Everybody, kid wanted to be on it. And pretty soon they were leaving the golf course and the tennis courts, and they were on the swim team, couldn't wait. The parents loved it, da-da-da. Their fathers, many of their fathers were on the board of trustees. And I just can trace the scenario of the trustees meeting with the headmaster and in the fall and saying, we got this guy up there in Michigan. He comes down here in the summers and he built a hell of a program and the parents love him and we need to get him down here at Albuquerque Academy. And indeed, Mr. Harper wrote me a letter. He came to see me once in about 1965 and I said, thank you, but no thank you. Mm-hmm. He came again in 66, and I said, thank you, but no thank you. And he came again in 1967. Again, I said, no, I just wasn't ready to leave. I was sort of moving up the ladder at Cranbrook, and I loved it.
Yeah. Cranbrook's a great school.
It is a great school. My kids had a great education. They're at the Brookside School, part of the Cranbrook Estates. He came the last time in 67, and he says, I'm about to the point where I'm not going to take a no for that. He was persistent. Bud Harper was that way. And I said, well, I had told you no 3 times. He said, I'm going east. I've got a couple of interviews lined up with people you know. and I'll call you back in a week, and I'll make a new offer. Call me back. I was just getting ready to say no again. He said, by the way, he said, the two people that I have just interviewed, and both will be coming to the Academy in the fall, 67, are two people who know you very well, speak very highly of you. I said, well, who would that be? It's the Interstate League. It's one of those old-time leagues. He said, well, the first is Rodney Dashnor. And I said, Rodney Dashnor? From Nichols School of Buffalo, hockey coach. And we had become good friends with Rodney. He had just lost his wife, had a little girl to bring up, and we just clicked. And a wonderful friendship still is. And I said, well, who's the other guy? I was still going to say no at that point. He says, the other is George Follansbee. George Follansbee was the only headmaster I've ever known who was the head coach of a varsity sport, and that was baseball. He had been a baseball player growing up, and as a matter of fact, he was George Bush the Elder's baseball coach.
Yeah? That's like Boyden at Deerfield.
Exactly.
Was the baseball coach and the head of school.
And he's that kind of a guy.
See, I'd like to be too, but Taryn won't let me.
I was wondering how long it was going to take you to maybe worm your way into that.
I've wormed a little bit, but I've chosen to be to teach and be in the classroom. I would either be in the classroom or I would be on the field. The time required to be the head coach, I don't think I could give, but certainly an assistant coach I'd be great at. But not everybody wants to coach with the head of school. But you still get us to Albuquerque, Coach.
Wait, I will. He said, well, Shorty has got crosswise with his board of trustees over some issue, and he's resigned. And George Follansbee and Bud Harper were classmates at Princeton, I think it was. And, I said, Rod Dashnor and George Follansbee, two men I really admired and clicked, and that did it. And so I said, I went home, talked over with my wife, Jeannie, and I signed and came in 67.
So you were coaching swimming and teaching English?
I was head of senior school. Interestingly, Bud made me the head of senior school and Shorty Follansbee the head of junior school. Who would have thought it would have been the other way around? A former headmaster, head of junior school as opposed to senior school. I was head of senior school. I was the advisor to the newspaper, which was the Vista in those days. I taught a senior honors class in English, nothing to do with swimming, and I was the varsity track coach.
That was such a... I mean, now I think if we would ask somebody to do all of that, they would not accept the job. It's just changed. I mean, that was the way it had been. You taught 4 classes, you advised an activity, and generally coached 2 or 3 sports, and that was just the way it was.
Well, that's the way it is, and I've always thought that the ultimate job in independent education is to be in independent education, and especially at a boarding school. And I really think that. Do you ever recruit? By the way, when you go back to recruit faculty, do you look at?
I look for faculty all the time. I'm never not hiring. At any point, I am hiring, and talking and
good for
engaging. Even if it's simply about advocating for the academy. And so you never know how that works, will play out. In fact, we go to Boston and LA and sit at these hiring fairs and mainly to talk to people. Every once in a while we'll find somebody. But yeah, I don't believe in sitting back and waiting for people to come to us solely. We'll go out and get you too.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. So Taryn, you grew up in Albuquerque. Went to don't use too many words when we're speaking. Okay,
yeah. I'm the opposite as Dave. So I told you we'll offset each other here.
You went to El Dorado.
Yes.
How did you Well, you were also a collegiate athlete.
Mm-hmm.
You played for both Kansas and
Kansas
UNM.
State.
Kansas State, and then
Kansas
UNM.
State.
TCU, UNM, Kansas State in that order.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did you move into education? I know you taught at Moriarty.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did you land here?
Well, I always wanted to be a coach. That's it, my whole life. So that's how I ended up in physical education. And I got a job at Moriarty High School out of college. I knew it's always who you know around here gets you in. So anyway, I knew somebody out there, got hired, coached head volleyball, assistant basketball, head softball for 2 years, but I lived in Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was working on my master's, and one of my classmates, I can't think of his name. He was the trainer here, athletic trainer. But anyway, we were in class, and he says, we're opening up the middle school, and they want to start a phys ed program. Because at that time, all you guys, all the faculty, had to teach a phys ed class. As part of your responsibility.
Yep,
yeah,
we did.
So I came in '84 when they hired a whole bunch of us when the middle school opened. And the reason I got in is because I played basketball, I think.
But what year was it again?
What?
What year was it?
84.
84.
Yeah, and so Harper, but
Bob
Phillips and Joe,
You got
they
there
knew me
right.
because I played basketball.
You
so.
came right on that dawn of Bob Avenette's
Right. 2 years before Bob.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you get here. What is your recollection? What do you remember about when girls came? And how did that impact your classroom and your swim team?
They brought a lot to the school. They brought a lot of civility to the school. I know we've had to make all sorts of adjustments. To name one, for instance, the literature that we taught had to be altered somewhat. It was very male-oriented, a lot of good Hemingway stuff, you know. And with the girls' swim team, it wasn't much of a change because of my summers that I spent coaching girls and boys on the same team. And they competed in meets together and practiced together and da-da-da-da. And I knew early on that girls could compete with boys every inch of the way. And their capacity to learn and to compete was certainly equal to that of some of the really best boys I had.
Right. You're sitting across two women who are quite competitive on everything.
No. I've seen you two in action. And I know a little bit about your athletic background. But this gal here I remember her when she was in high school.
Tell me about Taryn in high school. I can't wait to hear
Well,
this.
first of all, she was not just a Johnny-come-lately or a one-sport coach, athlete. She did it all. And my twin brother and I have always thrived on the fact that we were very multi-sport oriented.
Right. You love baseball.
That too. And hockey and da-da-da. But Taryn was she just wasn't an everyday kind of athlete. I mean, she stood out in the whole girls' community of athletics. I admired her. It's like having a sports hero among the distaff ranks, you know, really.
Do you remember how Taryn was embraced when she got here? Because the 80s were a tougher time, it seemed, from talking to people.
Yeah.
Not that Taryn says this. I'm just talking to alums and others. Being a female leader in athletics, she was younger. Do you recall a young Taryn Bachis at the academy?
There was a lot of resentment on this faculty about the whole issue of co-education. and a lot of eyebrows raised when we hire a female AD, previously viewed as strictly a boys' territory, you see. But she succeeded some pretty successful ADs. I think she certainly surpassed everything they've ever done. And to a large degree, I know how hard this gal has worked to promote this school and to promote athletics and as a coach. And then working as her subsidiary as a swimming coach, which she pretty much turned over to me. I like that part.
And I'm dummy. It's like he knows more about it than I do. So
that's right.
Yeah, she. I don't think we could have made a better choice, and we had some pretty good applicants.
I bet
we did have.
Well, I feel very lucky and the recipient of those good choices. So that Taryn is here.
Yeah.
Taryn, what do you remember by those early years, and how has the school changed a bit in your eyes?
So I was in high school when girls started sports, obviously. So I remember
Right.
competing against some of the teams, and it wasn't really much competition.
Yeah.
So the girls' programs have really flourished over the last 40, 50 years. As far as when I first came here, the faculty embraced me. I was fine. I played basketball with them on Sundays, and I got the special award that we do every year for the plus 20 my first year. So the hardest thing is the transition to AD.
Yeah.
That was tough with the faculty and the coaches.
And what year was that?
2000.
Right.
Yeah. So, but my early years, I remember because I did bandolier. That was a tough thing when we went hiking and camped out in the mountains.
Bandelier Elementary School.
No, bandolier. I remember when we took
in the Bear Canyon kind
yeah,
of
where
program.
we had to take them up and hike and
sure.
distill our water, and
Yep.
that was an interesting thing. But those first few years, it's like a blur to me. But I was accepted and embraced well. Dave has always been there for me. And I've always thought of Dave as my father.
Huh.
I've told him that several
That's the
times.
trouble with being so damn old.
Well, Taryn's my mom. I'm only joking.
Yeah, I probably am. Same age.
So I'll take it.
No,
I'll take it.
I'm good.
But just watching the women's sports grow, the guys' sports was pretty good when I came. They did well in football and basketball, soccer. But the girls
swimming.
just really grew.
Yeah.
They barely had teams.
Yeah.
Swimming was always strong.
So let's talk about this. I mean, the Academy has always been, honestly, this is, as somebody who's late to this game, an athletic powerhouse. I mean, we win a lot. Over 200 state titles, numerous district championships, and in a variety of sports. This notion of country club sports always bothered me. First of all, it's so disrespectful to all the kids here and what they do every day.
They're called Olympic sports today.
Ugh. Yeah, we've done well in swimming, but we've also done well in basketball and in baseball and in track and in cross country. And so just because of like swimming and tennis and golf, it discounts all the other success. And what do you two attribute that longevity of that success to at the Academy? I have an answer for this as well, but I'd love to hear what you think. Like, why are we always in it?
Well, from my point of view, is the consistency of our coaches. I mean, most of our coaches have been here a long time.
Yeah.
And we have, in my view, more type A kids. And when they believe in a coach. They just, as a collective unit, do so well.
Yep.
Where I think a lot of our kids may or may not make the bigger schools teams, but as a collective group, we outperform them many times. But I do believe it's because of the consistency of the coaches.
And I think, too, the classroom has something to do with it. This is a very motivated place.
Yes, it is.
And I've always held that motivation is slippery, and it's hard to achieve without a high degree of self-motivation first. And there's plenty of that around. They're challenged in the classroom, and I think a lot of that seeps over into their being on the athletic field. I think that's overlooked sometimes, but it's important. And Taryn's right. They've had some wonderful coaches at this school. Wonderful coaches.
I absolutely agree with that. The academy, I watch our kids all the time. They play above even, what you would think their talent might indicate. Like, they do it constantly. They exceed those expectations, and their collective play is excellent. I absolutely think they're smart and motivated and can see a field or a court quickly and make adjustments. They're also competitive. They're competitive in the classroom. They're competitive at school in healthy ways, but it moves on to the playing fields. And, you're right. Motivation is slippery. Many people start out with high motivation. They confuse motivation with consistency and with being deliberate. And our kids can do the grind, day in and day out. In the classroom, then to the field, then doing their homework, then doing it all over again. And I don't see that run ending. I'm not saying we're going to win everything all of the time, but we'll be in it, which is really what you want in high school athletics. This season alone, 5 teams, right? You have boys soccer, girls soccer, football, cross country, and volleyball have all made it into state with pretty decent
high
seeds.
Yeah.
Seedings. Whether or not they win or not, that can be on any given day. But what they had to do to get those that kind of seeding, I do see as a result of all of that, the excellent coaching, the leadership, the commitment. And all of those things are why we're there. What do you miss most about working here every day, or teaching and coaching?
Well, I miss the kids.
Yeah,
and that's probably the same answer about any retiree will give you.
You mean you don't miss the adults? I'm just having
I miss
fun
them,
with you.
but they're going to have to get in line on this one.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because I miss them, and I very much miss being relevant.
Oh, well.
I'm just I'm having a hard time dealing with that. My brother, who is, of course, my twin brother, he is still very relevant. He's at his university, and he was emeritus way back in '65, and that was by degree and demand, and he's still doing it and plugging along. And I think this is a fantastic idea, not only to promote the academy to whoever listens to it.
My mom.
And your mom. And but I miss I like being in the trenches and every day, and Bud knew that, and he knew just how to tap into that that desire of mine. And well, I miss everything. I miss being with the faculty.
Yeah.
And I was saved because I retired from the classroom in '95 after 35 years in the classroom, 28 here and 7 at Cranbrook. And but I had the swimming coaching job still in place, and sitting down there with Pat McClendon every day for about several months, planning the natatorium. And I just had things that fell into place that filled up my life, and that made it easier.
Yeah. I think about that day too. I'm a little bit away from that day being tomorrow, but the idea of, what it will be like the day after I retire. I mean, right now my calendar is full. Like when you walk someplace, you matter. And then, retired heads of school or other people talk about it, like, then it just ends.
Yeah.
And that is a very tough, moment in that way. And there are times that I'm like, I'm tired at the same moment. So I can't say I understand how it feels, but I can empathize and say I've thought about how it might feel in that way. Yeah, and school communities are amazing. They just swallow you up. New kids come in. They don't remember, like you spent your whole life here, and they're like, who's here now? And I understand that too from switching schools a bit. So what would you, Taryn, where would you like to see the Academy go in the next 70 years? What's the next frontier for us? You don't have to do 70. You could just say the next 5 to 10, but
gosh, I'm so busy just dealing hour to hour.
I understand.
Well, we've had so much success and we're starting this year so well. I think flag football may come in, pickleball may come in. Some of your other sports may go out. Softball's sort of dying, which I know nobody wants to hear. Women's basketball's dying in the high school. So I don't know what it's going to look like. Yeah, volleyball's sort of taking over club year round. So anyway, I mean, at the collegiate level, basketball's still the most popular. But
Wow.
So, gosh, I guess what I just wish is when I'm gone or whoever's next is just continue working with the kids and trying to make the best program for whatever programs are going to be around.
Yeah. So Dave, what advice would you have for me and for my successor on where you think the Academy should go?
Well, this is obviously, without question, maybe even the very best ship afloat in this state, so far as athletics are concerned. How many years in a row have we won that all-sports trophy?
Forever.
But
it's also one of the best educational institutes in the state.
But, certainly, at the least, maintain. Are we talking about just athletics here, period?
Yeah, I take any and all advice. It's the Academy. Athletics is a portion of the Academy, but in a big part of it, but we offer tons of so many things.
Yeah.
But what do you think's important that we continue to do or think about?
Well, I think the relationship between the faculty and students, which is extraordinary, I think, here, and that's something to be really cherished.
Yeah.
And taken care of by whomever comes down the road. And but I think they will do that sort of naturally. And so far as athletics is concerned, Taryn's a hard act to follow.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm amazed at what she's done here. She's always knew that the athletic director's job is one of the most demanding,
And challenging.
just about, challenging at about any school like this.
Oh,
And when you look at the multiplicity of programs here for boys and girls, it's far different than when the girls first came, and there's very little for them to do except field hockey, for instance.
right.
And this is a wonderful school. Cranbrook is a wonderful school. They're far different from each other, but in a lot of ways the same. And I'm blessed to have been a part of it.
Yeah. What for each of you? What is your favorite place on campus?
Mine is walking down the path in the morning at 6:30. Just all the trees and it's quiet and.
That's a good question, Julianne. Most people would think it would be the pool,
right,
the natatorium, but I've often said I love to go up there on weekends when there weren't any kids around and no faculty around. And I used to work in the shop a lot, but here, every once in a while, I used to, when I was a member of the faculty, come and sit in the Richard Harper Memorial on the edge of the football field. Because he was my advisee, and I coached him in track, and his father hired me to come here, and so there's a big connection with him. But that's a peaceful spot over there, and I hardly ever see anybody sitting in it over there, but it's a nice place.
I think the stadium, if you're even from really mid-stadium seating to high, that view over the field, the campus to the Sandia Mountains, I don't think there's a better view in high school athletics in the country. It is spectacular. Absolutely one of my favorite.
And especially so with the snow on it.
Yeah, or when and both when the sun is coming up and when the sun is going down. Mm-hmm. There's just it's majestic in a way that it just makes me feel so grateful each time. So today when we go out and watch the game and the sun will be setting, I mean, the setting is just really, we're blessed with this. So here, for each of you, red or green?
Green.
Christmas.
Oh, of course, Taryn will go. Morning or night?
Morning.
Morning.
Both in that way. Yeah. Favorite rivalry for the Academy when you were coaching? Doesn't have to be for the Academy, but for you. Favorite team to play?
Well, St. Pius as a coach, as an athletic director, I hate it.
No, St. Pius. Probably Los Alamos, maybe.
Nice.
In swimming overall. Back in the day, they were really, really good. And during the 90s, La Cueva was really, really good.
Right.
And there have been other schools, a year here and a year there. And then the rest of it sort of belonged to us, Yeah. But they're...
but in swimming, it was Los Alamos forever.
Los Alamos is always a good, something to really look forward to.
So last question here. Can you think of one of your favorite athletic moments over your time here, whether you're coaching or that you saw a game or a particular team or season that was kind of magical?
Well, I think as a coach is when we were down 25 points against Hope, my last year of coaching, and we came back and won.
Yes.
At Hope.
Right.
Gosh, as an AD, there's been so many.
I mean, even just this year, being down by 21 to Pius, and the
Coming
boys came back.
Yeah, and then the soccer.
Oh, my God, we had that. I mean, there have been just some tremendous moments.
Yeah, so as AD, I've seen so many, more than I did as a coach.
Right.
I only did this once, or have done it once. There was a year, I can't even pin it down, but it was a very abnormal year for us because we were not very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I flicked things around a lot and made some changes at the very last moment. Gave some good motivational talks, I think. And we won the championship.
Yeah.
Got in my truck to drive out to Placitas, home where I live. And I got out around the Pueblo. I pulled off to the side of the road and put on my blinkers. I just had to sit and digest it and tell myself that I'd done a good job.
Yeah.
And that my father, who was always in any athletic picture that I paint in my mind, the greatest coach I ever had, and tell myself that I'd done a good job. And I only had done it once in all those 42
Championships
that we won.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, thank you both. And I would say perhaps how you feel is one way, but in reality, the fact that you've dedicated your entire lives to serving other people's children, to serving the academy, to coaching, to teaching, will always make you relevant. You can never not be relevant, actually.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Right.
Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, please. I'm here with Christine Lenhart, not only an Academy alum, but an Academy parent, an Academy administrator, and a good friend of mine. Welcome back, Christine.
Hello, Julianne.
So it's we talk all the time. It'll be interesting just to do an interview today. So why don't you just start by saying a little bit about your family and how did you arrive to the academy in the 6th grade? I know you have 2 other siblings. They went to Pius. How did you end up here?
That is a good question. My siblings, as well as all of my cousins, went to Pius. And then Pius moved to the west side of town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm raised at Academy, Wyoming, is where my family home is.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom didn't want me driving that far. So that's actually how I ended up coming to Academy. Very last minute, she had me apply. I think it was in the middle of the summer,
Right.
if I remember correctly. And then the decision was made that I was going to go to Academy. And at first I was not happy with that just because I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And it ended up being a great move for me.
So you came in 6th grade, and
Yes.
that would have been in the late 80s.
Exactly.
And you had Ed Bacalini,
I did.
and your 2 children have had Ed Bacalini. So how was
Exactly.
that to kind of come full circle and to have your children sit in the same classrooms taught by some of the same people that you did?
Just to kind of step back for a minute, my own experience. So one of the things I value the most as an alum at Academy is the relationships that I built with my teachers. And they were there for me all the time. And a perfect example is that my very first day, when I showed up on the campus and I didn't know anybody, I kind of perched myself in a corner of a room, feeling pretty overwhelmed. And Ed Bacalini shortly tapped on my shoulder and started asking me questions about myself, like, where are you from? What elementary school did you go to? And I felt really comfortable very quickly. And he started bringing other students who were also standing by themselves kind of in the conversation. And those are some of my best friends to today. And why I want my children here and why it's so imperative and exciting that they had Ed Bacalini as well is the relationships that you build. I mean, yes, I care about the academics, obviously, and they have such rich, fruitful opportunities here. But Ed Bacalini is someone who still checks on me, even though we work together in a very different capacity. And I wanted that for my own kids. And so Ed Bacalini comes up all the time around our table. He loves llamas. He jokes around all the time with students about liking McDonald's coffee and very similar trends from when I was a student with him. So there's a lot of joy watching my own children have that experience with him and building those same types of relationships.
Right. So, you know, you graduated in 94. Do you have any, memories or recollection of your time here as a student? And I asked that question carefully because I like you, returned to my alma mater. I worked there for 14 years. I couldn't really remember the difference between when I was a student and when I was working there. Like they blended those memories. But what about for you? Because I know that you left the academy, went to college, worked, lived in different cities, and then returned back. So was that gap enough to allow your time as a student and then your time as a teacher here to really be separate?
So I do have separate memories. I do have to say that when I first came back as a faculty member, I would walk around campus. I started dreaming a lot more about like experiences I had when I was in high school. I would look at different pockets of the school and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that is where this happened and this is where that happened. And so it was really fun to come and kind of re-experience the campus as a faculty member. But obviously it bridged into the memories I had as a student. One of the best memories that actually came to me right when I came back is I went to the tennis courts when I got back here. I don't remember the exact year they were built, but that construction project happened when I was in high school here. And, you know, just looking there, remembering all those memories of playing tennis and the tough moments and the moments where we took state. And it was just really, it was a big flood of memories, especially when I was at the tennis courts for some reason.
So tell us a little bit about your life after the academy, from college, and then you had gone into finance, and then and education was a little bit in there, but then you returned to education full on. You know, tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure. So when I left academy, I went to Notre Dame. And I was a finance major, like you just kind of mentioned. And when I was ending my 4 years, I really wanted to stay at Notre Dame still. And there was a really great opportunity to get a master's in education as well as do an AmeriCorps program at the same time. So I ended up getting my master's in education the 2 years after I graduated from college. And part of that program was living on the border of Mexico in a town called Rio Grande City, Texas. And so I volunteered there for 2 years in education in a school teaching 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And it was a very small school, so we taught many different things. And that's actually where I met Tony, my husband, because he was doing Teach for America in the same area on the border. And then after I left there, I went back into the field that I intended to go into from college, finance, worked downtown Denver for a few years in finance. And then every time I saw the back to school signs, I would feel this tug because I actually really loved education those 2 years when I was volunteering. And so shortly thereafter, I went back into education. I've been a principal in elementary, principal in middle schools, you know, taught in 9 different schools, kind of coast to coast. So, and then when I moved back to Albuquerque, I quickly joined the Alumni Council and then started to get to understand better the school systems in New Mexico and started talking to people here about working here. So
we work really closely together. What are some things that you're proud of that, I mean, you worked well before I got here, but some things that you're proud of that we have advanced the school, and what are some areas that that we need to work on?
So I have had the opportunity during my time here to work either in longer term situations or shorter term situations in all 3 divisions. Some of the things I'm really proud of is we've really worked hard to be very student centered, and just from little things like building procedures that are consistent 6 through 12 to make the experience for students and parents easier, to bigger projects like, we've worked a lot on faculty evaluation or supporting faculty with professional development, really focused on campus safety. So there's a lot of big areas that we've focused on. My favorite part of the job is working with the students and the parents that, I feel really lucky when parents will share things with us so we can, continue to learn about their experience and continue to improve the school.
So, what has it been like to watch the academy through your kids' eyes and, be on the sidelines or watch them in the struggle or, bopping down the path with their friends?
As I had mentioned prior, my hope for my kids coming here was really the relationships that they'd build, both with teachers and friendships. And it has been totally awesome to watch that for them. They have, much to my own experience when I was a student here, built really strong relationships, felt incredibly supported by their teachers, been excited to learn different things, taken ownership in their learning. And so it's actually really cool to watch them, wear those same Academy jerseys that they're different jerseys, but the same Charger jerseys that I wore when I was a kid. Volleyball and football just ended. They both participated in those sports. It's really exciting to continue as an adult to cheer on the Chargers.
Yeah. I also love that, your parents go to the games and they, and that kind of pride, that intergenerational, it's truly in your family. I always enjoy seeing them on the courts or on the field and loving the school, maybe more because it's their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And that way it's just really sweet. All right, Christine, this is a little part of our show called the lightning round.
Okay.
Are you ready? Teaching or administration?
Teaching.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Red or green?
Red.
Favorite menu item in the dining hall?
Oh, that one's hard, actually. I would say I really like their chicken nuggets, to be honest with you.
What's your favorite spot on campus?
That's hard, too, because there's so many great spots. I really love the benches over by the East Campus. They say a really lovely saying on them, and it's just a really nice spot to sit right there.
Great. Well, thank you, Christine, for spending some time with me in this way, and we're good. I want to thank Taryn Bachis and Dave Barney for joining me today, as well as our guest, Christine Lenhart. I'm very fortunate to be part of a team that cares so deeply about education. Go Chargers! Thanks for listening to What I Learned in School to learn a little bit about Albuquerque Academy. Send us your comments and questions to headofschool@aa.edu. You can listen to all of our episodes on our website at aa.edu and wherever you get your podcasts.